Feet are in the water, sharks in the water. I should get my feet out of the water. So yeah, you know probably that I'm referring to that awesome movie.
Peter Benchley's best-selling novel, Jaws.
I like that movie a lot. And recently I was thinking about it because a friend of mine, somebody I've known since I'm 5 years old, he gave me this. And I've had this now for a few years. And seeing Quint in there kind of gave me an idea. I thought to myself, well, I can't just destroy this because it was a gift. And then I look it up online to see if I can buy another one, and it turns out that it's a collector's item. So to go through with this idea that I have, I'm going to have to do something a little bit different.
And my carving kit.
Well, there were plenty of alternatives to doing what I'm doing here. One easy one would have been to just destroy that little figurine and put a hook in it. But as a collector's item, I was worried that people might be upset about that. And, you know, the scale wasn't quite right. If I caught a fish that was 3 feet long, I needed something a little bit bigger. And nothing really tickles me like sculpting. This is stuff I've been doing since I'm a little kid. Playing with clay and using my artistic abilities to just, you know, bring joy to myself and to others. This seemed like a perfect opportunity to do that. Now that I had the original sculpted, I wanted to cast it because clay wasn't going to work on the water. Here I am adding vents because this is a tricky process. We're going to fill the voids with clay, a 45 like that, and we'll reduce the wasted silicone. What are you doing? Why are you barking when I'm making films? Oh, you're bad! As much as I would like to make this a how-to video on making molds and casting stuff, there's just too much for me to teach. So, I will just suffice to say, if you're inclined to tinker around, this is definitely something to look into because it's a great skill to know. Once upon a time, I ordered some videos from a company called Smooth On, and they showed you different ways and techniques to make a mold. I could have done this one a little bit better, but I wasn't doing it for production work. I only wanted to make one of these guys. And without making a mother mold to hold this in shape, I figured a couple of rubber bands would be just fine. To cast it, I decided on a flexible foam that is popular amongst people that make props for like Comic-Con and cosplay and stuff. I figured for this situation it would be perfect to make a bobber. It wouldn't take on water, it would float, and hopefully it would fill all the voids within the mold and not trap air. It was a gamble, just like figuring out how much foam I was going to need to fill the mold. Turns out I might have used a little too much. Now it was just a matter of waiting a couple hours for this thing to cure. Okay, let's try to get this thing out. I'm gonna ruin my rubber bands. Oh boy, a lot of flash. Oh man, that's cool. Yeah! That's pretty cool. I gotta clean a little bit of the flash, cut this off of his back, put a hook on this thing, and we'll be ready to go fishing.
Flares, safety float, temperature gauge, spear guns, SMG.
What are you, some kind of half-ass astronaut?
I'll never put on a lash jacket again.
Okay, I think this is the spot. I'm going to power pull down and put the chum bag in the water. Keep that chum line going with you, Chief. The idea I had here was to catch a small jack crevalle or a ladyfish and then use that as bait for the shark, but instead I wound up just sitting here and not catching anything. I guess that's the way fishing is sometimes. Maybe we get bait, maybe we don't. Once I realized I couldn't catch any bait, I decided to go back and take a little break. Paddling this boat is definitely doable, but I was getting a little tired and lazy, so I figured I'd switch it up a little bit. This is a brand new boat that's going to be available from Pelican. It's called a Catch Power. Comes with a transom on the back. I had a power pole micro anchor attached. I decided to take that off and instead put a trolling motor on the back. This boat comes wired already for a trolling motor. Up front here is where the battery goes. And now I was going to have a much easier time while I went out hunting for my shark friend. Previously, I had been using some of the bait that I had put inside the chum bag on the hook here attached to Quint, but later that night, I wound up catching some ladyfish, and I thought that might make better bait. That scale's almost right. Sun was going down though, so I was going to have to wait for the following day to actually use this bait. It's the next day we're trying this again. I was able to find some ladyfish last night. I've got a ladyfish on the bobber, still alive. I'm going to chop these up for bait. Delicious.
You heard him. Slow ahead.
Slow ahead.
I can go slow ahead. Come on down and chum some of this.
Aside from the stinkiness that comes with using live bait and chum, there was another issue that might plague an angler when he's using live bait on the surface. I didn't anticipate the osprey problem. Come on, osprey, go away. This particular bird was being very persistent. Would you bugger off? Huh? There really was nothing for me to do but to pull the bait in and just wait until he left. To me, it felt like a good time to have a beer. I sat out here for quite a long time. I couldn't see anything out there and didn't know if Mr. Shark was going to come along at all. So I flew the drone. I looked down at myself just to orient where the drone was at. And as I moved it forward, I could see the bait. And then I thought I spied something else out there. So I came down a little bit and zoomed around. And believe me, to my surprise, when I turned it around, there he was, coming right for the bait. I couldn't believe what I was seeing on the screen. I knew that quickly I had to get this drone back in case he took that bait and started running. That's pretty crazy. I just put the drone up to see what was going on out there and saw a freaking shark right next to the lure. You better form yourself into tight little squares there, Quint. And if that shark gets close to you, you start pounding and hollering and screaming. Maybe the shark will go away. Maybe he won't go away. Maybe I'll get the shot that I'm after. I honestly didn't have a lot of faith that I was going to be able to hook a shark. It's not something I had ever done while here in the river, even though I had seen them before in some of my drone footage. At this point, I was only moments away from a shark actually eating my bait. Oh my god! Oh, no way. Oh. Dude, I got a bite. I got a freaking bite. Come on, dig it. Something tells me if the shark bit the fish, it's going to release all kinds of good smelly stuff. So if I just let that sit there, I think I got a chance of him biting it again. Little by little, I was starting to feel a lot more like my good friend Quint. I was starting to feel like I might have success catching a shark. There's the swimming with bow-legged women. Oh my god, I gotta tell you guys, I am giddy like a mental patient. Not that there's anything wrong with being mental. I think it's a good thing every once in a while. Well, like the crazy person that I profess to be, I sat there for quite a while waiting for the shark to come back. Unfortunately, I did not get my epic shot, and the shark never did come back. And then I was starting to wonder if I actually still had bait on my line. Freaking out. Let's see if we have any bait left. Oh my god, he's been bitten in half below the waist. What? Oh my gosh. Ah, that's still a tasty morsel. I'm gonna throw it back out there. Oh, get Well, much to my chagrin, I never did catch another shark that day, but there'll be other days and more videos from me. And I wanted to say thank you guys for watching. Thank you, Pelican, for providing me with a boat that's not quite available yet, but soon, the Catch Power 100. And of course, I wanted to say thank you to the shark for entertaining me and bringing a lot of laughs. This ain't over yet, Sharky. I'll be back.